In Solo Leveling, as Liu Zhigong leaves the room, Adam translates that Liu had no intention of fighting Jin and bore no ill will. Just then, David Brennan approached, asking if he could have a moment with Jin. Agreeing, Jin takes a seat across from the upgrader, Norma Selner. Wondering what she wants, Jin admits that he hadn't expected to meet her again. Norma explained that she had been having recurring dreams in which top hunters were hunted down by someone. And in recent days, those dreams have started to come true. Asking if she means Christopher too, David explains that they warned him, but he wouldn't listen. Norma continues, stating that powerful hunters would continue to die, and those hunting the hunters would not stop. Jin questions whether she had come to warn him of his fate as well. However, she denies this, instead revealing that she had come to ask Jin to protect the hunters, further explaining that she had been trying to remember the faces of those who had been hunted in her dreams, but none of them were clear. So she decided to try confirming their identities with her ability within the dreams. Recalling the time Norma had looked into his eyes, she confirms, saying that once she came into contact with it, she was forced to wake up from her sleep. Still vividly remembering the voice she heard from it when they locked eyes. Jin asks what it said, and Norma, recalling the images of it, responds that the voice had told her to go back and prepare for war. Realizing that it's the battle between rulers of sovereigns that the King of Giants spoke of, he wonders which side the ones killing the hunters are on. Still confused, Jin inquires about what this has to do with him being asked to protect the hunters. Norma clarifies that she had seen a similar power within him. Speculating that she saw the power of the Shadow Monarch that day, Jin realizes that if she saw the same power in her dreams, it must be the sovereigns. David admits that these beings are beyond hunters, and that they need Jin's immense power to help. He said they hadn't been sure Jin could be the one to protect the hunters until they saw him fight Thomas Andre. David adds that they don't expect him to help without compensation and offer anything he wants, even the greatest treasure left behind by Dragon Kamish, telling Jin that there are hunters in this world who have received powerful blessings and have supported the world with their powers. David says that if they disappear, this world won't last. However, Jin apologizes. David asks if it's because he still has personal grudges against Thomas Andre, but Jin denies this, saying that he still doesn't know who he needs to be fighting against. Jin stands up, his mind made, and as he walks out, Adam reflects on what he had said. But just before leaving, Jin folds, calling Agent White and requesting the list of hunters they wanted him to protect. On the last day of the International Guild Conference, Jin asks how Jin Ho is feeling, to which he responds good as new. As Jin Ho proudly cries, knowing that Jin fought Thomas Andre the Goliath, a group of men talk about how he's on another level as he's right in front of them, yet they can't feel his presence at all. While they realize that Jin Ho must be the hunter, Jin fought Thomas Andre to save. A man greets Jin Woo, introducing himself as the CEO of a global corporation specializing in dealing with monster remains, and offers to purchase all of the giant monsters he's hunted. Noting the good timing, Jin says that he's mainly in charge of the raids, and his vice chairman is in charge of all the business-related matters. Watching Jin Ho, Jin smiles inwardly, seeing that Jin Ho is really a proper vice chairman now. At this moment, Adam hands Jin a list, explaining that they've ranked the hunters by points they assign them based on their contributions and activity. The 10 hunters listed at the top are leading in points. He tells Jin that if he accepts their proposition, then he'd likely be asked to protect those people. Curious, Jin asked where he himself would rank. Adam replied, saying that taking in account the giant monsters he took down, he would rank somewhere around 3rd or 4th place. First is Thomas Andre, second is Liu Zhigong, third is Christopher Reed, and the 4th was Siddharth Bachchan. Calling it a drag, Jin decides to put a shadow soldier on each of them, instead of memorizing all their names. He'll make contact with the rulers through these hunters. This way, he'll be able to tell who's friend and who's foe, and who he'll need to fight. Footsteps approach, and suddenly everyone gets serious. Thomas Andre calls Jin Woo's name and asks to ask one thing, explaining that because the damage his arm took from magic power, the healer's healing magic is not working, and the doctor said the same thing, that even though it's slowly recovering, it's still far from complete recovery. Knowing that Jin could have single-handedly wiped out his entire guild after dealing with him, and acknowledging that amidst the chaos, not a single guild member has died, excluding Huang Dong-su, the cause of the commotion. Thomas asks Jin why he let them live. Jin Jin answered calmly, saying that Thomas hadn't committed a sin deserving death, turning his head and walking away. He mentions that he plans to have a great funeral for Mr. Huang. Even though he committed a sin deserving of death, Thomas asks Jin to let him have a funeral, raising his arm and adding that when it's healed, he would like to have a meal with Jin, and if he gives his manager his contact info, he'll contact Jin later. The manager explains that Thomas just showed his gratitude towards him for not harming his guild members, and no matter how he looks, he's actually quite a shy person. Insisting Jin gives her his contact info, Laura says that Andre wants to give him a gift of gratitude. However, Jin declines, explaining that her master is very competitive and becomes uneasy when he feels he owes someone a favor. Laura says anything would do. Thinking a dagger would be useful, Laura appreciates his understanding and departs. As she leaves, Adam asks if they should meet and greet with the hunters on the list. However, Jin dismisses the idea and asks if there's a person missing, as he doesn't see rank 6 hunter. Surprised, Adam admits that they lost contact with him a couple of days before the conference. The secret agency and the Brazilian government both have yet to find his whereabouts. Questioning if he was already done in, Jin notes that leaves 7 people. Back in South Korea, Chairman Go calls it strange, as his heart refuses to stop shaking these days. His heart's been this way for a couple years now, but he could feel it getting worse. Questioning if this is his limit, he knows the doctor said he could lose his life within half a year if he keeps up the work. Since then, 2 years have passed, and he's where he's at currently. His office phone rings, to which he answers to a voice, making sure nothing happened today. Calling her a worrywart, he says he was just about to go back when he suddenly senses something. Looking out the window and questioning what this is, he wonders how this could have happened before looking over to see the Frost Monarch and this guild conference arc end.